Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and once again, we're doing a one-on-one. They've changed the hours here, so it's kind of tough to get people to come in, but that's okay, because I enjoy the one-on-ones,
yes,
and I
indeed.
think the TV audience will get used to it, too.
Yep.
So once again, affectionately on my left, we have, affectionately, our aging rocker, Emmet.
Yep.
Which is a perfect nickname title for you there. And I'll let you start us off, and I'll play some Chopin.
Let's see. Heavenly Father, please bless our time together in Jesus' name, and please also help me with my allergies and the issues that Asaph didn't, whatever our issues, especially my allergies. Help us in Jesus' name.
Thank you. I'm gonna play a song called "The Prelude in E Minor" by Chopin. It sounds like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
And you may have heard me play. I don't know. I'll play it for you.
Oh, got cold again.
That's okay. Do you recognize this song?
A little bit.
I'll play it for you.
Dry.
It's a beautiful song.
It is.
Are you doing all right otherwise?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yes. Yes, how about you?
Getting ready to play at the mall soon.
I was going to announce that. Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a moment.
Really exciting, fascinating.
And here's the conclusion. Have you ever heard this song?
I think so, I'm not sure.
Here's the conclusion. Beautiful conclusion coming up.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that pretty? Sounds like something out of a World War II picture.
It does, yes.
I think of the movie The Pianist with Adrian Brody.
Yep.
Did you see that movie?
No, I never did.
I'll talk about that in a moment. And that's it. That's called The Prelude in E Minor. I mentioned The Pianist. That's a tough movie to watch. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
No, I never
Pianist,
have.
with the actor Adrian Brody. It's based on the life of Władysław Spillman. He's the Jewish pianist that survived the World War II. And it was just a tough movie to watch.
Wow.
And there's a scene in there where this German officer ends up saving the life of the pianist, not because the German soldier was necessarily a good guy.
Yeah.
He just was tired of the war.
Yeah.
Decided for whatever reason to save this pianist. And then when the war stopped, the Russians captured the Germans, and so this German officer was captured, and he cries out for help to get a message to Spillman, but the message came too late before they packed up and moved. And it's just quite a movie, because it chronicles the stuff that Spillman went through for real, losing his family.
Yeah.
Doing Auschwitz, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
A horrible period of.
It was, yeah. It has.
Yeah, I recommend you see that movie
Interesting.
if you get a chance. It's called The Pianist. And that song I played just now kind of sounds like something that would be.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Just, did you think World War II?
Yeah, you do.
And stuff like that. Let's see, I'm gonna play Santa Lucia.
Still feel like I have a frog in my throat just because of the allergies, boy.
Well, I hope you overcome that.
Yeah.
Try that idea that Scott suggested.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. But you're gonna be playing at the mall soon.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a moment.
Fascinating.
I like this part. Yeah, I'm getting ready to play at the mall, starting on the 25th of this month, the Black Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know who thought of Black Friday, but
Yeah, I know.
a couple of years ago, you got your tissues, right?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, they invited me to play for Black Friday, and this was on Thanksgiving night, which
Yes.
started at 9 p.m. that evening.
Yeah.
Which means I had to cut my Thanksgiving short,
Yeah.
and I didn't mind that. But the mall opened at 9 p.m. I'm gonna tell you how crazy this was.
Yeah.
It opened at 9 p.m. I was already in the mall, and
Yeah.
they had the piano roped off.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a line out there that snaked around the
Amazing.
outside of the mall, and this is before the doors open.
Yeah.
And then when the doors open, people just ran down that first corner.
I know.
You know? It was crazy.
Well, I hope you're not trampled.
You got the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
trash bag there too? to
What?
help
You
you out?
got the what?
The little bag right there, the trash bag we had last week.
No, I don't have it. Oh,
Okay,
I don't.
well, I forgot to get it, but okay, you've got your napkins.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So yeah, getting back to Black Friday, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope you don't get trampled. That's what I'm worried
No,
about.
I'm
People
roped
getting
off.
good.
I'm roped off.
Because I've heard of, I don't want to bring grim subjects onto the cafe, but I've heard of people getting trampled at the Black
Well, that's
Friday
probably
stand.
those really big cities like
Yeah.
Chicago or whatever.
Yeah.
No, but it was still crowded here, even from Missoula, and people ran down that corridor and everything, and then, oh gosh, by about midnight, it
Yeah.
was so crowded in that mall,
Yeah.
it was almost like a can of sardines.
Yeah.
So, but that was a few years ago, and this year, 2016, they invited me again, so.
That's great.
Starting on the 25th,
Yep.
and then I think that following Monday, I'm there every day,
Mhm.
so. But I'd like to invite you if you in the area. Black
Yeah.
Friday. It starts from 6
Yeah.
a.m. to 10 p.m. So I think there might be
Yeah,
some
I'll
buses
probably
right
come on
around.
Monday and Tuesday just because the Black Friday rush hour
Yeah.
type of thing just drives me crazy.
Yeah, it
All
starts in the morning till 2
Yeah.
o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I admit, maybe it's a little commercial Black Friday, but they've got some pretty cool deals.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
I'm
think
sure they
about
do,
it.
yeah.
They really do, you know.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And,
Buy a big washer and dryer for me to spin in and talk
I'm
to.
gonna play night and day. Yeah, but it'll be fun, you
Yes.
know.
Talk to all the washers and dryers at Sears or something or whatever they have.
I don't
Wait,
know.
they don't have Sears anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, they closed that down at the mall.
Yeah, I forgot.
But you still have the other stores there, you know.
Yeah, they do. Red Robin's is a very good place to eat at.
I
You know,
know.
I would love their food and their drinks. Yeah. Delicious, and they give you big beers too.
I know, yeah.
The cream ale is just delicious. Yeah, it's a feast just for a beer, if you want that.
The manager once gave me a free meal one year for playing at the mall.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's the coffee maker of my dreams. I splash in it. The coffee maker. Hi, coffee maker. The coffee maker sticks out its tongue at me, and I stick out my tongue at the coffee maker.
Well, if you want to come to Black Friday, you're more than
Thanks.
welcome.
It's a fascinating
Because it'll be
thing.
going on all day. All day
Yeah, I
long.
guess you're right. Yeah. The coffee maker. It's
I'm gonna be
fascinating.
there. I'm gonna be there at 6 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Night and day. Well, new
I'm just
song.
gonna start it off and night and day. That song.
That's cool.
I'm gonna start it off and just see what happens, and I'll get my appropriate rest.
That's a
and
good
everything.
idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I want to be there first thing in the morning because I know it'll be packed
Mhm.
and get the music started. And I'm
Yeah.
really humbled. And they got praise God, they got a grand piano. A baby
Wonderful.
grand. Yeah, the mall sent me a message yesterday. They said they got a brand new grand piano. And
Wonderful.
so when I wrote back, the first thing I put was, praise God.
Yeah.
You got a baby grand. Because they had the upright, I think last year. Oh, it was so miserable trying to play that thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did. I put praise God on my window to the mall. So. That's cool. But yeah, if you're welcome to come.
Well, maybe I'll go. Yeah, Black Friday normally, but that's a fascinating. And I hardly ever go to a Black Friday.
Well, there's going to be. They'll have seating at the. They'll have seating at the. That's enough. They'll have seating. At the Cafe Dolce.
Yeah, I want to be.
Coffee.
Yeah, fascinating.
You'll probably have breakfast and things like that. But if you think about it, that's a long shift, 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. that evening.
Yeah.
And no telling how many cells and people throughout the community will be there at that time. So.
Did you get your flu shot? I'm sure you did. I got my flu shot this year.
No, I didn't. Every time I get a flu shot, I end up feeling sick.
Oh, okay. Everyone's
really, I
different.
get really queasy. And
really interesting, huh?
Yeah, I can't play.
Well, okay, because I know there's going to be a lot of colds and flus at the mall.
Well, I already had my cold already. So
okay. That's right, yeah.
I had gotten sick about 2 weeks, really sick.
Yeah.
And what I did, I put like this thick sweater on, and I lowered my oven door because I have an electric oven. I wouldn't recommend this for a gas oven, but
right.
And I turn it to about 200, maybe a little under 200, so where it'll turn on and turn off and turn on automatically, so you don't burn your coil. And I had a portable heater behind me. See, I was laying in front of the stove, and I had the heater behind me. And I got under this, I put the sweater on, I got under this big thick blanket, and I just sweat.
Yeah.
It was hot in there, and I was miserable, and I was sweating. And then, like, the next morning, I just felt better.
That's wonderful, yeah.
But it was a tough process, going through that
would be,
process. It wasn't fun. And my t-shirt was all soaking wet. Oh, God, just wet. So... But I woke up.
Sweat out all the germs. That's good. That's wonderful. That's an excellent idea.
That's a tough process, though.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Because when you start getting uncomfortable, the first thing you want to do is turn everything off.
I know.
You don't get well. So I endured that. I sweated it, and I was miserable. I was coughing up stuff, and I had a little plastic bag nearby so I could, spit in it. And that next morning, it worked.
That's wonderful.
I started being able to, I just felt better and lighter and relieved, and I could talk, and my appetite eventually came back. And
that's good, yeah.
So that's what I did. I don't know if I'll do that again if I get sick. Hopefully I won't get sick again for a while, but that's what I did.
Yep.
So it was,
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Black Friday, it's the 25th of this month.
Okay, cool,
and
yeah.
And after that, every single day.
Yeah.
After that weekend, it's on Friday 25th, and I think like the 28th, which is on a Monday. I'm there every day, so at the mall. Not at 6 in the morning, though.
Yeah.
More like about 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the morning, yeah.
So the normal hours,
Definitely. Fascinating.
I love that secret ingredient.
Yeah, are you going to be ever singing while you're singing about washing machines? Or
I doubt it. And, some people, because, it's open to the public, some people will come and they'll just sit in and sing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Whether they can sing okay or not, that's not the point. The point, it's a community thing.
Yeah.
So it's just fun to have people come in.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'm going to play Shot in the Dark for you. This is from the Pink Panther film.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You might recognize it.
It's getting colder, have you noticed?
I know it.
Oh, boy. I knew it was going to be a cold winter. I don't know about you, but I thought it was a cold summer. The summer was cold. It just wasn't very hot.
I know.
And I knew this is going to be a bitter winter, I think. I think it's going to be a very bad, cold winter.
Recognize this song?
Yep. There's only one good thing about if it is a very cold and bitter winter. What would be good, the Yellow Jackets, they might not be in such bad force next summer, you know.
Yeah.
If it's a warmer winter, but if it's very cold, there are a lot less yellow jackets, and I don't do well with yellow jackets. I'm not allergic to them, but they stung. Did I tell the audience?
Go ahead.
I might have told the audience this one time. I know I said on my show. I can't remember. Did I tell you when I got stung by a yellow jacket?
I don't think so.
Well, this was when I moved to my place. You know, with my gardens. I moved, and it was in the year 2009. It was around August.
Uh-huh.
And I was sleeping in bed, and I got up for a minute, and then I went back to bed and went, ow! Oh, what? Did I step on a needle? Because it felt like fire came, and there was a yellow jacket in bed with me. It stung me.
How did it get better?
I don't know. He must have been lost and comes in a car and crawled into my apartment and crawled into my bed. Man, I started swatting it. No. So I took it outside. And then, do you remember the line in Star Trek and The Naked Time where basically, you know, O'Reilly was saying, "Oh, you cut off my song, Lieutenant Uhura. There'll be no ice cream for you tonight."
I remember that.
And that's what I said to the insect. You stung me. There'll be no ice cream for you tonight. And I just closed the door and went back to bed. But the next day, I was feeling awful. I just was lethargic, and because of the poison. Well, Joel at MCAT, you know, suggested something. Now, normally I'm allergic to aspirin, but he gave me an aspirin tablet, and I can take it topically and put a little water on it, made a little paste, and soaked up the poison from the wound, and I felt a lot better. But
good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
But yeah, I don't do well with yellow jackets. I'm not really deathly allergic to them, but they make me so tired, you know. Their sting is terrible. Their bite is awful.
I can only imagine.
It feels like a knife with fire. Wow, it is very painful.
You'll recognize it.
Yeah, I do. Voyager. Yep. But yeah, it's a true story, folks. That was not pleasant. But at least I got to say that line from Star Trek to an insect. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning.
And here's the conclusion.
Yep. That was a funny episode, The Naked Time from Star Trek. That was one of my favorites because everyone was flipping out. It was kind of comedic, really. I thought it was funny. It was serious at first, but when O'Reilly took over the ship and said, "Captain Riley here. There'll be a dance in the bowling alley at Ode." No. And then you kept singing, "I'll take you home again, Gatling." I thought I was going to die laughing, and you know, just all his comments and just his new regulations were hilarious. And I'm ordering double portions of ice cream for the entire crew. Now, let's sing Caroline one more time. Kathleen, you know, all take, and the whole ship had to listen to this. This was hilarious.
I know. You know, I bet that actor probably went home at night thinking, "I can't believe I did that."
Yeah.
Is he still living? I don't think he's with us anymore.
I don't know.
The actor that
Yeah.
Kevin Riley. I don't think he's with us anymore. You know, that whole generation is just about gone.
I know, yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Because Star Trek is, what, 50 years old?
It is now, yes.
So these people would be either in their 80s now or gone.
Yeah.
But what a fun character he left behind.
Yeah, that was funny. And just for that one time, I think they may have been on other shows, but that was a funny... Because remember the idea was they were kind of drunk on that bacteria or whatever it was. They had never seen this bacteria before, and they got kind of affected like alcohol. It was like alcohol.
Yeah.
Made people crazy or violent or just stupid. Like there was this hilarious scene where some crewman had a paintbrush and was laughing at it. And Mr. Spock said, "Crewman report to the lab," and going, "Ha!"
Yeah, I remember that.
That was funny. I was about dying laughing.
And what about that scene when Spock got the disease?
Yeah, that was dramatic. That was dramatic, and that was actually excellent acting. That was very...
Yeah.
Because of all his emotions poured out, and that was excellent acting. The whole thing was great. It was an excellent episode.
They probably had a hard time keep from laughing.
I know, they would have. Yeah. That was a fun episode.
The girl from Ipanema.
Yeah, I love this, yeah. You know, I was disappointed by Star Trek The Next Generation sequel to that, The Naked Now. It wasn't as funny.
Well,
they called the same
probably
thing.
updated it.
Yeah,
and
they
made
did,
it
and
more
just-
serious, you know.
Yeah,
or
I
something
wanted
like
it
that.
to be even sillier, you know, more of the disease to be even sillier, you know.
Yeah. He's saying that song, I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen. Let's see if I can figure it
Yeah,
out.
all take.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
and Riley kept
Something like that.
singing it over and over, and Captain Kirk said, "Please, not again."
again.
They were trapped, and they couldn't. Oh, I can't believe how funny
Yeah.
that was.
But that's the episode that started the time travel. Did you know that?
Yes,
That's
yes,
the
it did.
episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started using that principle of
Uh-huh.
going into the sun and pulling out.
Yes, that was excellent.
That's how that episode started the time travel part
Yeah.
of Star Trek.
And that's
a
how-
piece of trivia I don't think people
Yeah.
realize. Even though it was a silly episode, it had a serious thing that they started using in the
Yeah.
series and the movies too.
Yeah, and that's how they did it in Star Trek: The End of the Voyage Home when they
Yeah.
had to save the whales. That's what they used it from. You know, we can go back to any era. And Captain Kirk said, "We might try it, Mr. Spock," and they did to save the whales many years ago.
That's one of the more comical episodes of Star Trek.
It
the
is,
movies.
very- Yeah, the movies. Yeah,
So it was just fun watching.
it was. Another one I liked was it called I, Mud, where a bunch of robots were going to take over the universe, and Mud was stripped was stuck on the planet with a whole bunch
No,
of
that
androids.
was that was I Mud because there were two episodes.
Yes,
with the character
with
Harry Mudd.
Harry
One
Mudd.
was Mudd's women.
Yes,
The
and-
mail order.
I didn't like that episode too much, but I
Right,
liked
alright.
I, Mud. You know,
Yeah, that was more of a comical, and they had one.
that was
They
hilarious.
had one robot named Norman who was
Yes.
the leader of all the others.
Yes.
So he gets on the ship and he like knocks out everybody,
Yeah.
takes over the ship, and then he turns himself off for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Then he wakes up and says, "If you don't come with me, we'll keep you in orbit forever."
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a cute episode. But the actor that played Harry Mudd,
Yes.
I did a story on him about
Yeah.
a year ago.
Uh-huh.
He's done more television shows than
Yep.
any character actor in history. He's done like over 200
Yeah.
television shows, appearances.
Fascinating.
Yeah, he was the leading character actor, even though he's going to be best remembered for playing Harry Mudd. He did a lot of television shows, a lot of fun commercials and things like that.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
No, he's gone.
Yeah, I thought so. They're almost all gone.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole generation is just about gone.
Yeah.
But he was one of the most used character actors in Hollywood in those years.
Yeah.
He's got the record, I think, to this day as more television appearances.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I was going to talk about some of these stories of mine real quick.
Certainly.
Well, you know, I've been doing Wake Up Missoula for over 2 years,
Yes.
and I got to do this segment thanks to Noel called Musical Notes, and that's where I do these stories, like you saw. And I don't get into the personal lives. Or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I don't get into the smoking, the drinking, the divorces, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of drama
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I just focus on the contributions. And like I said, Harry Carmel was his, Roger Cormel was his name in real life, the actor that played Harry Mudd,
Uh-huh.
and he's done over 200 television shows. Gary Berghoff, the actor on MASH that played Radar,
Yeah.
he's appeared on more game shows than any actor in history. He has that record. And see, I focus on those kind of things, those kind of fun things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've talked about television shows, I've talked about movies, I've talked about actors, singers, dancers, whatever.
Yeah.
And this latest here, one guy that I talked about let me put it this way. When I talk about someone that you don't know who they are,
Yeah.
but you know what they do,
Yeah. Yeah.
those are more interesting stories. And one unlikely person that I talked about recently was a guy named Earl Anthony. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No, I never have.
He's probably the best bowler that ever lived.
Huh.
In PJ,
Yeah.
the bowling, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Bowlers Tour.
I see.
He's the first bowler to ever earn $1 million in bowling
Huh.
in history.
Fascinating.
He's the first one.
Uh,
They called him the Doomsday Stroking Machine. Doesn't that sound familiar? The
Yeah.
Doomsday Machine?
yeah.
He was
Yep.
called the Doomsday Stroking Machine.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was also called Earl the Pearl, and they just gave him these nicknames, but he was so skilled in bowling.
Interesting.
I used to watch him too when I was growing up, but it was amazing what this guy could do. He's one of those kind of guys, like could have a split. You know how you've seen splits, how they'll have like one pin on one side of
Yes,
the
yes.
alley.
Yeah.
He was so skilled, he was able to take and knock one pin, cause the pin to go on the other side, and knock the other pin down and get a bunch of points.
Amazing.
He was just an amazing bowler.
That's
and
amazing.
so I did a story on
Good,
Earl
good,
Anthony that you don't hear about
Yeah.
it, right? And those are the stories that are really fun. And let's see, I did my top 10 for 2015 and 2016.
Uh-huh.
Now my number one story for 2015 was Sally Field,
Mm-hmm.
the actress Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yeah.
She also did, as a young woman, she did a television show called The Flying Nun.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see that?
No, I never
Flying
have. No.
It was really funny because they had this scene where, you know how the nuns would have their habits and the cross and stuff, and she went out to walk the dog, right? And she had the ability to fly. Whenever a windstorm would come, she would float and just fly. So she's outside walking the dog, and the winds come. So she starts holding onto the leash of the dog, and her body's floating up in the air while she's walking the dog. And it was just so funny to see that.
Interesting.
And then they had another scene where she was flying through the air, and she crashed right through this church glass window into the sanctuary.
Interesting.
It was just such a fun,
Interesting. Interesting.
a silly, cute little show, and it was called The Flying Nun.
It wasn't sacrilegious against the Catholic Church.
No,
Oh,
no,
good,
no.
good,
It
good.
was just pure
That's
comedy.
good, that's good.
It was, 'cause we're
Wonderful.
talking the 60s, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's good, yeah.
And her character was Sister Bertrill, and she did a lot of wonderful things, the character on the show.
That's wonderful. That's good.
And it wasn't preachy. It was just
That's wonderful.
genuine comedy.
That's
just
wonderful.
Like, she would do her nun work,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody in the convent would be doing their thing, but whenever the wind would come, she would just float in the air, and she could fly.
Yep.
And I said in my story that Sally Field probably went home at night and said, I can't believe I did this to
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
I can't believe I was a flying nun.
It's amazing. That's wonderful.
It was a fun show.
Yeah.
It was just such a delightful, fun show, The Flying Nun. And so that made my top 10 for 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a guess who made my top 10 for 2016? Take a guess.
Let's see.
Just pick someone at random.
Someone from Star Trek?
No.
Oh, wait. Would it been Gene the Dancing Machine or
No, he made the top 10, but he was number 10 for 2016. My number one story for 2016, and that's based on the reaction of Scott and Noel. I told him yesterday. It's based on the number of views. It's based on what I think the television audience would like the most. And Barbara Bain made number one for 2016. She's the actress on Space 1999.
Oh, yes. And that was
She's
an excellent show.
also Mission Impossible.
Yep.
She played Cinnamon Carter, blonde hair spy lady. So she made number one on my list for 2016. So tomorrow I'm just gonna pick my own personal favorite stories. Now my stories, my favorite stories may not have made the top 10, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gene the Dancing Machine did make the top 10 for 2016. He was number 10 on the list.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't have the list with me, but yeah, he was 10 on the list. And The Gong Show is just such a fun show.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I wish I had all the episodes on videotape or DVD. You know, I wish they.
I don't know. Maybe one of the networks will put it together one day.
That'd be really great because
The Gong
if
Show.
I had the money, I'd own the whole collection. You know.
It was a fun show.
Yeah.
And for those watching us now that may not know The Gong Show came out way before The Voice and American Idol and all the rest of those shows. And at that time, they had the movie stars that would give you points if they liked you, up to 10 points or something like that. And then if they didn't like it, they had this big gong and they would hit this Chinese gong, and they'd get you off the stage. They'd get a big hook, hook you off the stage, and then Gene the Dancing Machine would do his little sliding dance routine. It was fun.
Oh, it was a lot of
It
fun.
was fun. Let's see if I can figure that out.
Yeah. And Gene the Dancing Machine would just be dancing like this, and they would, dancing like that, and they would throw stuff at him. And one time it was very surreal because the unknown comic was just there staring at, you know, the unknown comic, the guy with the bag over his head, and it was surreal and it was awesome. Yeah, I just loved it. Yeah, Gene, the dancing machine.
Something like that. They always played that song. And it was just so fun watching Gene the dancing machine come out. And you know, I don't know if I told you the story on him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't an actor or a singer.
Yeah.
You know how he got that?
How?
He was a stagehand for NBC.
Wow.
You know those guys that work behind the scenes?
Yes.
And they were shooting the Gong Show, and he was a stagehand working behind the scenes. And so one day, you know, they had this, when somebody gets gonged, they have to take time to set up for the next act to come out.
Yep.
So they brought Gene out. You didn't see it on television then at first. They brought him out. He just did his dance thing for the audience.
Yes.
It was just an audience thing, but the television audience didn't see it. And then he was such a hit that Chuck Barris put him on the air.
That was wonderful.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And then he became a bigger hit. And that's how he got his claim to
wonderful
fame there.
I guess he passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, he lived to be something like 82, 83, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was fun to watch. And he always wore that green jacket.
Yeah.
So that, he made my top 10.
Yeah.
And another thing, one of my top 10 for 2015, Persis Kambata. You don't know who she is, but you know what she does. She played Lieutenant Ilea in that Star Trek film.
Oh, yeah.
That was Persis Kambata. She made my top 10 for 2015.
Excellent. Is she still alive or
No,
not?
she's gone.
Yeah, amazing.
And she did some wonderful things, like the money she made from Star Trek the Motion Picture proceeds went to Mother Teresa's charity.
Wonderful.
Well, she was already rich enough anyway.
Huh.
Well, she wrote a book.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me get that more accurate. The proceeds from her book that she wrote went to Mother Teresa's charity, and I thought that was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So,
I did not know she was Catholic. Was she Catholic or not?
No, but she's from India, and
Yeah.
Mother Teresa did a lot of work in India.
Yeah.
She's one of the first people from India to make it really big, and she got into the Star Trek film, you know, playing Lieutenant Ilea.
Yeah.
So that put her on the map and probably gave her a lot of money, and she was able to do some wonderful things, probably for her family and herself. And then when she wrote her book, proceeds helped out people in India. So that was a wonderful thing to do. Ken Berry also made my list for 2015. Now, I don't know if you would know who he is, but he plays on a television show called F Troop.
I've heard of F Troop, I've never
Mama's
watched
Family.
it, yeah.
And he played like these bumbling characters, but actually in real life he was a very skilled dancer. One of the best dancers in Hollywood. So I thought that was worth talking about. Ken Berry. My parents used to watch him. And let's see if I can remember. Kim Hunter also made my top 10. You don't know her name, but she plays Zira, Cornelius' wife Zira on the Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. She made my top 10 list too. And there are a lot of other people that you probably won't know that made the top 10 list for 2015 and 16. Carmen Miranda, you probably won't know her. She's this lady who used to wear this fruit on her head.
Nope.
And chicka chicka boom, and she used to do her little dancing routines and stuff. It was they called it the banana fruit lady. She had like these bananas and apples and things on her head like a hat.
Interesting.
And it was just such fun to watch this lady.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Moms Mabley also made the list. Now you won't know her. She's a famous African American comedian of the '60s, and she's called the funniest lady in history.
Wow.
She opened a door for people like all the comics today, past and present. She's like the first comic to really, really break it big. And so she paved the way for a lot of people. Stuff like that. So my point with this Wake Up Missoula is I just had a lot of fun with it. So anyway, the party's over now. I did my final story yesterday, Abbott and Costello. And tomorrow, when they do the final Wake Up Missoula as we know it, I'm just going to go over past stories like what I was telling you.
Interesting.
Stuff like that. Now, let's change the subject. You wanted to talk about that, what was it, the
Shroud of Turin?
I don't know much about it, but if you want to talk
well,
about
anyway,
it.
I thought you had said that we were going to have a debate. You didn't believe that the Shroud of Turin was authentic?
Well, I'm not saying it's not authentic. I just wonder because you got to remember Christ died 2,000 years ago. And, you know, you want to be careful not to put too much spirituality into something like that, you know. I'm not talking about this shroud. I'm just saying, you know, like when people say they opened a bag of chips and there was a Jesus chip, and you know, they get all spiritual. I'm just saying, just be careful. That's all. I think people should be careful.
It makes sense because the early Christians would have preserved that relic of the shroud. There was a burial cloth that Jesus was wrapped in.
I know. I understand.
The early when Jesus was rose from the dead, there would have been so much energy that it made a permanent imprint. A lot of people think it's faked. It was painted. There's no scientific way that could have been painted. You know, there's just no way that. And second of all, you know, I've never really read this book, but there's so much. Maybe I should have just. But the way this was done, no painter would have ever thought to, for one, put the nails in the wrist.
I understand that.
No painter would have done that. And you know what? I've just been looking at this the picture of the shroud, the face of Christ. No, a painter, wouldn't a painter have either had a serene, face or a face of anguish?
Yeah, I would just say, I'm not here to shatter anyone's beliefs.
Right.
I would just say be careful, because really, when you read the Bible, it doesn't really talk about that as far as the Bible.
Talk about what?
That shroud, right?
Yeah. Well, it does talk about a shroud simply because he was wrapped head to toe in the burial clothes.
To the degree that we talk about it today, like his print face.
Well,
that's not really in the Bible.
No, it isn't in the Bible, but it would have been preserved. They would have preserved that, and I know it wasn't talked about in the Bible, but it would have been preserved. They didn't have to say, "Here's the shroud, here's the face."
I know, and I understand that. So I'm just saying that if it's not really mentioned in the Bible, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying people should be very careful, because sometimes you can have something happen that you think is spiritual and it really isn't. But
we don't worship the shroud, but we honor
I understand that. Yeah,
it makes sense that it would be put in the Vatican or wherever a place, so that for skeptics who don't believe anymore in God, that Jesus would have left this. And could I get a close up on this?
Sure, if it shows,
It does. You know what? No painter would have ever portrayed Jesus this way. Look at the expression. I've often thought that is an expression of shame, that Jesus was ashamed of his subjects and the people who were crucifying him.
Well,
he looks very kingly and majestic, but he has the frowning face of a frowning king that is ashamed of his subjects. No one would have thought to paint him this way. I've often thought that, that is a very kingly face, but it's a face that he looks like he's ashamed of his subjects, that he wants to go away. And also, let's see if I can, let's see. Oh, yeah, definitely. This is interesting. The whole shroud, if I can, I don't know, if I can get a fix on this, but that is very interesting. They didn't paint Jesus as someone thin, but Jesus as very muscular, with a muscular build. No one would have ever thought to have painted Jesus as a muscular person, but he would have been, being a carpenter. He looked larger than life. That, it's just amazing, the detail. They would have.
I know
it's just
what you're
amazing.
Now, I can't say, from my point of view, I can't say that is real. But what I can say, I would imagine Jesus had to have had some kind of physical build. Because if you read the accounts of Christ in the Bible carrying a cross,
yes, exactly.
So he must have had some kind of physical strength.
Yes, amazing.
From the humanity point of view.
Yes.
So, like I said, getting back to the shroud, I don't know. I'm not a theologian. I don't know about this shroud, but I do know about Christ. And
yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you had been flogged 39 times.
Yeah.
Do you think you could have picked up a 200-pound
I couldn't
cross?
do it.
I think I would have died.
I would have died right there.
About the 10th hit.
I would have.
you know.
I would have, yeah.
But he got it 39 times,
Yeah.
and his body was just ripped to shreds.
Yeah, I couldn't even.
And then picks up this cross
Yeah.
to go to Calvary.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to do that physically.
No, could I have?
So my point is, I'm not saying he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time, but
yeah.
he must have, the body that he had.
Yes.
He must have had some degree of
Interesting,
manly
yes,
physical
yes.
strength. Maybe not muscles.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily chiseled.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those guys are chiseled. They're not very strong.
Mhm,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
They get out in the gym and
Oh,
their
yeah.
body alters to get
mhm.
those features.
Mhm.
But getting back to Jesus, he had to be a man.
Interesting. Yes.
you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't know because
Mm-hmm.
the Bible doesn't say. Just like the shroud, the Bible doesn't necessarily
Right.
say that's his cloth or his face or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
image. I do agree he was buried in a cloth, yeah, but
That would have been it. The one that he was buried
well, I
in.
understand,
That would have
but
been it, and
I'm
it was
just
been
saying, I
preserved
think
by
if
the
it's
early
not in
Christians.
the- yeah, if it's
you
not
know.
in the if it doesn't say directly in the Bible,
Mhm.
I think that people should just be a little careful. I'm not saying that that's not the
Uh-huh.
cloth. I'm just saying
Yeah. Interesting.
because you don't want to add something that the Bible doesn't say, even if it's theory. That's how when you hear me say, like, if I talk about something that I know is not in the Bible, I'll say, look, this is not in the Bible. This is just an opinion. I could be dead wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not shattering any beliefs. I'm
Yeah.
not shattering yours or
Interesting.
the TV audience belief.
Mhm.
Just, I think the authority, and you and I would agree, is
Mhm.
whatever the Bible says.
Uh,
And there are a lot of things that the Bible clearly doesn't talk about.
exactly.
So you have
That
to
happened,
leave
yeah.
that, I guess, to your interpretation, your conviction, after you've prayed about it, whatever.
Mhm.
So that's all I'm saying.
Because even pieces of the true cross are in the Vatican. They found the true cross, pieces of the true cross. This is a real story. Even one of my priest friends has a relic.
Mhm.
They found 3 pieces of big wood from that era, and they said, which one is the cross and which one was the thieves? And someone had a disease or something, and they didn't get healed from the other 2, but someone got healed from this 3rd chunk of wood by something, and said this must be the true cross, a part of the true cross. So
Yeah.
it's a relic in the Vatican.
And
As a
see,
Roman
and I
Catholic.
understand that, and I'm not Catholic, so I can't really comment.
Yeah.
But when I hear stories like that, I just,
Mm-hmm.
I take it,
Mm-hmm.
I approach it with more, not skeptic, but just with my eyes open. I guess is
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
to describe it.
I think somewhere
I'm not
positive.
pouncing
Yeah,
on the
I know.
church
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Bible, if the Bible said specifically, this is the cross of Christ, or whatever.
Yeah.
You have something to bank on, but when the Bible is silent,
Mm-hmm.
you have to kind of approach it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to explain.
Yeah,
it,
I guess with the Catholic Church, just because it isn't specifically in the Bible doesn't mean we can't have it, because there's a lot of stuff that happened like in the
I agree
30s
with
that
you.
isn't
I'm
written
saying that
down,
too. Yeah.
that the St. Paul did say, like it didn't talk about the death the fact that St. John was boiled in oil by one of the
Yeah,
emperors,
yeah.
and that did happen.
Uh-huh.
That did
Yeah,
happen,
I
and
agree
that
with
kind of thing, that kind of thing,
Right.
There's a lot of church history that didn't make it into the Bible, but that the early church father knew about, and things that happened, a lot of relics that happened, just amazing,
Yeah.
just.
So that's all I'm saying is, when it's stuff like that, when it's not clearly in the Bible, I just approach it with a open mind. I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of saying this is definite,
Yeah.
But if the shroud is important to somebody, I'm not going to
Right,
shatter
right,
the
right,
Bible
right,
belief.
right.
I'm not going to say you're absolutely wrong and it's false, but no.
Exactly.
It's an individual thing.
Exactly.
And so my point is, I'm not Catholic. I understand that. And I have a lot of wonderful friends that are Catholic,
Yeah.
past and present.
Yeah.
If that's important to them, then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
for them, and I'm not going to shatter their belief. But the main thing is, you and I agree, it's not so much about the cross as far as pieces of it or the
Yeah,
shroud. It's
yeah.
more about Christ and
Exactly.
what
He did for it. Yes,
and
exactly.
he did die on the cross.
He
so.
did. That's definitely true. Yeah.
We can agree on that. I told you I had some Catholic friends when I was in Vegas when I used to play there years ago.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful people. They used to work in the hotels and in the casinos.
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they weren't gambling.
Exactly.
They were just working there, and I think they
Exactly.
would infiltrate and try to spread the word.
Exactly.
Just Wonderful people. They were just wonderful people.
Mhm.
They were Catholics, but they were
Mhm.
born again Catholics.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Catholics are
Well, you
Catholics
know
are
what I
Christians.
mean.
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
mean,
Mhm.
they were to kind of tell you,
Mhm.
Christ died for you, and you need to accept Him as your Savior.
Exactly,
kind of thing.
exactly.
So,
That's
it
what we
was-
believe. Yep.
I know, and that was pretty cool. So, and this conversation, we only got about 15 minutes. Let's see how fast this went.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool talking about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert on that
Mhm.
kind of religious
Yeah,
talk. I
yeah,
admit.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you made me think of. They got a prayer wall over at that thrift store I was telling you about, across from KECI.
Oh yeah.
There's like this thrift store
Uh-huh.
there. Let's see, and when you walk in and
Mhm.
go to the back section,
Mhm.
there's what they call this prayer wall,
Mhm.
and you literally take a piece of paper and tack your prayer request on there. And what I think they do is there's probably hundreds of prayer requests, so they probably
Mhm.
don't like pray literally.
Mhm.
They probably just as a whole.
Yeah.
Like they might maybe lay their hands on a wall, or they just
Mhm.
might pray walking across the wall, or even if they don't pray at
Mhm.
all,
Mhm.
you're praying by faith anyway by putting your prayer request on the prayer
Mhm.
wall. And I just find that interesting. I
Mhm.
just thought I'd share
Mhm.
that with you.
Mhm.
I brought that up because with these music stories, I'm trying to get a job with ABC.
Yes.
So I went there this morning and I put that God will open the door for me to do the musical stories on
Mm-hmm.
ABC. I got a lot of prayers going up that door will open, and
Mhm.
that prayer wall came to mind this morning, and I went there
Yep.
and tacked my prayer request on.
Wonderful.
I thought you'd get a kick out of hearing that story. So.
Yep.
But anyway, let me see, what else can I play here that I haven't done? Secret Agent Man.
Mhm.
Let's do that. No, I want to do an easy listening song for you.
Yeah, I love easy listening. Yeah.
Let's do some easy listening song.
Oh, I love easy listening. Definitely. Oh yeah, Swinging Safari.
Yeah.
Burt Kempfer.
Yeah.
That I got it. What do I win? Well, what do I win? I know, a new washing machine to talk to. I win because I got it right. I didn't win a
Isn't
new
that
washing
cool,
machine.
this song?
Yep. Yep, I win a new washer and dryer, and I can take it home and talk to it all day long. Yeah.
So anyway,
I win.
so how's your week been this week?
It's been very nice, very pleasant.
Cool.
Yeah. Just,
That is cool.
some still suffering with allergies, that just never can
Well,
quite get.
try that remedy that Scott.
I think that's a good
discovered.
idea.
I think I overheard it.
Yeah.
I think you should try that. Another thing I would do if I were you is
Right.
drink, if you can, like herbal teas,
Yes.
green teas,
Yeah.
hot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
try. You've gone to a doctor for that, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It was allergies. I have gone to the doctor a few months ago. Yeah.
Did they make any recommendations for you?
Not really. Just just told me when you gave me a little Flonase, but it really hasn't helped much. Just.
Yeah. Well, try that Scott's remedy that he. was
Yeah,
talking about,
good
see
idea.
if that'll work
That's
for
a good
you.
idea.
Yeah. I'm just brain dead here. I'm trying to figure out what I can play. Let me think about another easy listening song for you. Oh, here's one.
How have you been this week?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know this song?
Nope.
That's called Walk On By. How
Hmm.
about this one?
Oh, I love this song.
I haven't done it in a while.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, I love this song. Have you been to the? I can't remember the name of it, but I love the song.
I'll do it for you.
Spin dry, oh the spinning dryer.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the spinning dryer. Have you been to something or another? Have you been to something or another?
It's called Do You Know the Way to San Jose?
That's it. Yes, I love this song. Dun, dun.
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah,
That's
they
by
played that on
Dionne
Easy
Warwick.
102. I just love that
Dionne
song.
Warwick. I was watching her on YouTube just last night,
Mm-hmm.
and watching her past works.
Mm-hmm.
and she was quite the singer, Dionne Warwick. My father was a big fan of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father used to always talk about Dionne Warwick when I was a little boy growing up. So yeah, she did all those songs. Walk on by, I say a little prayer for you. And
Oh yeah, I say a little prayer for you.
Yeah.
I love that song too. Oh, I love that song too. I love that. I hear on Easy 102 many times. Yeah, I love that song. I guess Lawrence Welk's gonna have their Thanksgiving special this Saturday. I can't wait to watch that.
Something like that. I haven't done it. Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah,
They probably will. But what was I gonna tell you? Yeah, getting back to Dionne Warwick, it was fun watching her.
Yeah.
You know she's related to Whitney Houston, don't you?
Didn't know that. Nope.
And Whitney took the world by storm too. She's gone now, but boy, what a voice she had.
Yeah. Yep.
Whitney Houston. And I think this is a Christian family too.
Good. Excellent. Yep.
Yeah, I believe that they are from Christian heritage, Christian background.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And I know Whitney passed away very young, but you know, whether you live young or old, there's heaven to look forward to.
Yeah, there is. Yes.
So.
If you're a Christian, absolutely.
And Whitney's probably given singing lessons to the angels.
Yeah.
I'll leave imagination at that.
Yep.
So.
I know Lawrence Welk is up there probably playing the accordion, doing his show
and
again.
Probably directing the Heavenly
Yeah,
Orchestra.
yeah.
I want to add a two.
Yep.
But that's gonna be a fun.
Yeah, in heaven, I can't wait to meet the real Lawrence Welk. That'll be a blast to meet him.
Speaking of Lawrence Welk, I stumbled across this. I want to say anthology. Do you know what that is? It's like one of those big square cassette tape
Yes.
cases.
Yes.
That has like 3 or 4 or 5
Yes.
cassette tapes and pictures, like a little book, a
Yes.
chronicle book. And I stumbled across that about a week ago.
Oh,
And I
wonderful.
bought it.
Wonderful.
And it has highlights of the Lawrence Welk show, and it's just a
Wonderful.
beautiful thing. So, just something I just want to share with you there.
Wonderful.
And you got any final words? Because we're almost out of time.
Let's see. There were these 2 washing machines, and they saw a coffee cup, and they were splashing in the coffee cup. Then this one dryer came along and said, "Oh, I can't see around that." So he went to the other side of the room and started screaming about trigonometry. Ha 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 ha.
There you go. And we're out of time. See how quick that went?
Yes.
But my final words about your Catholic belief
Yes.
in the
Yes.
Shaw and Son.
Yeah.
If that works for you or other people, I think that's fine.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So it was good to
Yeah, it
discuss
was.
that and
It
get a
was.
different point of view. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
exactly,
it's not,
exactly.
Like I said, just food for thought.
Yeah.
But we do agree on Christ, and that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And it was fun talking about my
Yes.
shows and stories and
Yep.
the other things we've talked about today. So I'm going to make you a copy of this in a little bit. And,
Wonderful.
if you feel well enough, I'll do a second show.
Yeah, I think I do, so I'd love to.
All right, well, let me make some acknowledgments here. I am Asaph Adonai. We're on our Lawrence Welk set again. Lawrence Welk. I think I'll play his theme song at the end there. In fact, let's do that right now real quick, and then we'll end it.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to Lawrence Welk's Christmas show, because his Christmas shows were adorable. Maybe when we can talk about that on the second taping, the second show. But I just love his Christmas specials. I have some of them recorded, just adorable. See all the Welk family children when they were little adorable and they were cute. It's like, oh, cute. Oh. It was adorable. I just loved his Christmas specials. Looking forward to them. Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Something like that. It's been a while since I've
Yep,
done
yep.
that. I am Asaph Adonai. Affectionately on my left, our aging rocker Emmet. So until our next show, Maranatha.
Yep.
There's your easy
Oh,
listening.
yeah. Spinning drum.
And I always freeze on that
Yep.
chord. Well, make yourself at home. I'll shut everything down. We'll set up for the second.
Wonderful.